Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Monday, November 24th, 2024. And I've said 24 twice in the last 2 weeks. I don't know why I'm trying to go back. Maybe it is a subconscious reminder. I put a post up the other day about November being a very interesting month for me in the past, but we're not going to get into that. So technically, it is Monday, November 24th, 2025. Maybe that's why I said 24. Excuse me, because today is the 24th. Listen, do me a favor. I know everybody is headed out to the store. They got, a few days off or called in sick or did whatever, but you all know for the past couple of months, things have been very interesting. And since the summer, I've been predicting that I was afraid that things were going to look interesting right before the holidays. I thought it was going to be tariffs, non-availability of, certain toys, cost, food prices, maybe. But with a lot of the ambiguity that many Americans, Massachusetts residents, and Boston residents faced a few weeks ago in reference to the ambiguity around SNAP benefits, the governor, along with a good friend and colleague, we were just sort of reminiscing. And I think that I often refer to my evolution from family members and people that have known me for a long time. This young man can speak to my professional and community evolution. But I am excited to bring into the Java Cafe a partner of the community, a partner of the state of Massachusetts, and the governor in this effort to ensure that we address food equity. Um, and it's not anything new for he and this organization. And so I'm going to make the best use of his time and bring him into the Java Cafe. But do me a favor, before we get started, I want to make sure that people are aware of the information. And also, as much as many of us are dealing with our own issues, you all know we believe in the concept that the best time to give and the best time to support is when you need someone to give to you and you need support. And so toward the end of the show, we will share information, how to get resources, but then also if you would like to donate. I say often that 100 people donating $5, that's a lot. And so we're going to bring resources as well as tell you how you can participate in what the United Way is doing with the state of Massachusetts called the United Way Massachusetts Bay United Response Fund. And we'll share that link with you in just a few moments. But I am really excited to bring Mr. Marty Martinez. I met him in his role as the former chief of human services at the city. I'm old. I still say HHS, human services at the city of Boston. And we worked a lot together back a few years ago. It's 13. When did you go in? 13, Marty?
Yeah, actually 17, I think.
17. Okay.
Yeah.
So some years that we had the chance to work together and do some things, but I want to welcome you. I want to thank Bridget and your team for making this happen. We tried to do it last week, but I think it's most apropos the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There's a lot of attention to this day, but you and your work at the United Way know that food equity is an issue all year long. So I'm going to shut up, allow you to say good morning to the audience, and then I'm going to ask you to describe the state of food equity in Massachusetts right now in one word, and we'll come back and get context for that. But welcome to the Java Cafe, Marty. We'll get into any observations you have from where we knew each other to this in just a few moments.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, Jimmy. I'm still, shook because you called me this young man. So I was like, oh, great. I like that. That's a good part of introduction here. No, it's great to be here, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to sort of lift up so much of what's happening, right? What's happening in the world. I mean, people don't need to be reminded of all the challenges that are there, but I think people do need to know the stuff that we're doing with our neighbors, with our community, in partnership. And so it's great to be able to be here, share a little bit with you, talk a little bit more about sort of why we're doing what we're doing. And for me, as I sit here in my home in Dorchester, the work we do in our community matters each and every day. It has for many years. and maybe now matters even more. And so I'm eager to sort of share more about it and connect with you and all the listeners. So thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. And Marty, you talk about partnership and working together. And I will ask you, to just give a little bit, because you're not untouched by a lot of the services and resources in your present position that the United Way offers. But can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, include their, the journey of getting to, the CEO of the United Way Mass Bay? Like, that's major, Marty. When I saw that, I was like, okay, this is a good move for them, and you as well. And then somewhere toward the end there, if let's just address the elephant in the room, allude to what we did together. And this, because I said to Marty when we started, he, I think in the professional world, appreciate some of the evolution that I've referred to throughout the years. And so, Marty, the floor is yours. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about you, the journey, and a little bit of about us.
Yeah, sure, Tony. So yeah, I mean, I've only been at the United Way now for, let's say, about 8 months. And for anyone that's been watching, listening, looking around, this has been quite the 8 months of so many challenges that have come from the federal government. But I am so grateful to be in the seat that I'm in. But it's interesting to be here, sort of in this moment. So I've been in Boston for about 27 years. And Jimmy, as you know, that means I just got here to some people. But I've been here about 27 years in the community. And, it's funny to think about 23 years ago, I was a grantee of the United Way. I was running Mass Mentoring, an organization empowering young people and creating mentoring opportunities for youth across the state. And at that point, I was a grantee, getting a grant from the United Way. I saw the power of what the United Way was able to do for small organizations like mine at the time. And so, from that moment to working in different nonprofits in the role that I've been in, to being tapped to be the Health and Human Services Chief of the city, I sat in that role under Mayor Walsh, really looking at so many of the largest social challenges in our community, right? You and I sat at many tables looking at violence prevention, looking at trying to create real access for community to City Hall. How do we build and develop something collaboratively that's going to strengthen our community and have the tough conversations that I think are so vital? And so for me, coming from that city role, I saw the United Way then. The United Way raised something like $12 million during COVID, getting PPE out, food, helping with vaccinations. I mean, the United Way is such an important community, sort of foundational presence that I saw there at the city. And then between coming back from the city into this role, I was running an early education nonprofit, early literacy, nationwide, building and growing across the country, which I've been grateful for and grateful to be a part of. But when I think of like my personal who I am. I've been in Boston, like I said, for 27, 28 years now. I've seen so much of what our community does in strength, so many amazing things that our community's been able to engage in. But I've also seen what we do when we rally in challenging times. And that's important for me now in my role. But I will also say what I learned most about. Speaking of a young guy, I'm an old man with a young son. So Jimmy, I have a 7-year-old son who's a second grader. And the reason I share that is because I see a lot of this through his eyes, right? What does he think about it? He's a Boston Public School student. What does he see? What does he experience in our own community? And that helps me even more so think about the work we need to do, especially in this moment. So you and I have been at those tables where we have navigated complex issues. I've been in the city role, like you had been in the city role before. I've been in an advocate role and you've been in an advocate role. I mean, we know what it takes, and it takes people inside, it takes people at community organizations, it takes people advocating to really move things and to make them happen. And so we've been there, we've been through it, and unfortunately, we'll probably be there and be through it even more so to come over the next couple of years.
It's interesting that you say that, and I want to jump right in. And you've said so much there, but on the end, you alluded to the fact that we're going to be here. The
Yeah.
impact of things present and whatnot are not just going to go away if in worst case scenarios. I will also say to you all that anything that I may say during today's show that may sound political is not the opinion of Marty Martinez or the United Way. But when these subjects come up, I tend to Marty, there's still some things with me that they come out differently with a smile, and but still the same passion there for which
I
we
hear
are
you.
tapped into, some years ago. And so, Marty, let me just jump right in and ask you, when the governor reached out, or either you reached out to her,
Yeah.
and you came together to talk about the United Response Fund. What is the goal? What is the purpose? What is the intensity with this that adds to what the United Way does with all the other initiatives and funding streams and support that the United how long has United Way Mass Bay been active here?
Like 90 years.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, so, yes,
Yes.
this is not new for them, and so
Yes.
what was it like to get the call? Tell us exactly what it is, and I wanna be specific, Marty, because you and I know, um, that often there needs to be clarity with the intent of a fund and
Yes.
and purposes, and so tell us, how it happened, what it is not, and
Mhm.
then we'll end with how people can, of course, tap into resources, but then how little small donations, my viewers aren't, well, not that they have identified yet, millionaires and things like that, and so, I also wanna give the, folks an opportunity to give back, $5, $10, whatever, so,
No
um
matters.
how did it happen? What is it? What it is not? And then how can we get involved?
Yeah. Yeah. So Jim, I think you're right. The details matter, and you think about how it come together, how it came together. So that's so important. The governor appointed me several months ago to her anti-hunger task force, which she put together to sort of bring folks across the state thinking about the changes in SNAP and food security programs that we knew were coming. Right. There's no question we knew this was coming. We also know food insecurity has been around for a long time, and it's been growing and growing and continues to be the difference between people having access to be able to feed their family, right? And we know that inequity sort of exists in communities all across Massachusetts. And so the governor had created this task force. I sit on that task force. And then immediately when we started to see what was happening around SNAP, that the shutdown meant that for the first time in the history of shutdowns that have existed, the federal government was not going to fund SNAP, and meant people were going to lose access to their benefits. That, on top of the fact that the federal government had already passed legislation that was going to reduce eligibility, reduce benefits for the 1.1 million people across Massachusetts on SNAP, seniors, children, people with disabilities, a large variety of our population. But think about it for a minute: 1.1 million residents of our million of our neighbors are on SNAP. So when that was coming, it was clear the governor wanted to mobilize and wanted to create some additional support. So the governor asked us, "Can you all utilize your fund that we had already created?" We set up the United Response Fund a couple of months before the current crisis, exactly for this purpose: to mobilize our partners, mobilize investors, mobilize neighbors to help other neighbors. We knew that the federal government was creating all of these challenges and has continued to create these challenges. And so we set up this fund to be able to be mobilized for this exact purpose. So the government asked us, can you lift up this fund? Can you raise money? And can you get it out to organizations who then can get it out to people who need it, sort of in this challenging time? And that is exactly what the United Way is built to do, Jimmy. I mean, we raise money quickly, we distribute it out quickly, we support organizations that help with emergency, like basic needs. And that's what we've done. So we did it statewide, even though the United Way of Mass Bay is really Eastern Massachusetts, but we supported our neighbors statewide because, in many small communities, there isn't the access point that there needs to be in our communities, especially in gateway communities, overwhelmingly communities of color who do not have the same supports that might exist in other places. So we lifted up this fund. We got donations online from as little as somebody donated $1.50 online to someone donated online $5,000. So hundreds and hundreds of individuals donated online. And then we had institutions donate, large institutions. The largest gift we got from a private foundation was $2 million. And we overall have been able to raise in Eastern Massachusetts through us a little bit over $5 million we've raised, and we've already distributed about 3 million of that has already been distributed to organizations, nonprofits in our community, nonprofits we know, organizations doing important work to get food into people's homes. So we gave out grants, we gave out those dollars, which made a huge difference in the moment. And now we're continuing to support them as they navigate sort of the food insecurity that exists.
Marty, I just want to thank you because you saw my reaction when you said nonprofits that you know. And
Yeah,
we'll just say that and you've been in the business in different intervals and different
yeah,
spaces and know that often as much as there is good, and we'll end this segment with the good, is that there are some people, some orgs or whatever that take advantage or do whatever. And so I'm glad that you said that nonprofits that you know. You talked about giving neighbors the ability.
hmm,
And one of the things that you mentioned was that you've seen donations as minimal, not as minimal, as a giving heart can give of $1.50, sir.
right,
Can
hmm,
you talk a little bit about the neighbor and how, and we hear this, and I've said it before, soliciting, that no amount is too small. No
that's
amount.
right.
Can you correlate the neighbor piece that you mentioned, and also because I'm going to put the link up. I usually say a minimum of $5, $3, but you said someone gave $1.50 who
Yeah,
probably has their own needs,
that's right.
neighbors, and the give back that is. I'm asking you this, Marty, because you talked about the times that we're in, and any time that we can raise humanity, any time that we can talk about the good that people are doing, I want to be sure that we highlight that, but then also give people an opportunity to give back to this fund.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's think about that, going online and seeing something in the news or seeing something, in social media or hearing something that your neighbor says that makes you want to go to this site, to our United Response Fund site, and donate what you can because it may be the difference. It's contributing to what may be the difference for folks to be able to put food on their table and feed their family, right? And so having donors do that is remarkable. Having individuals do that is remarkable. And what did it pay for? We're giving grants to organizations, whether it's Pine Street Inn or Mattapan Food and Fitness or, Codman Square Health Center. These organizations are getting grants, 15, 10, 15, $20,000 grants so that they could give families gift cards. So they could give families access to expanded hours around the food pantry. So they could give families access to an after school program who may say, all of a sudden, families are raising their hands saying, we're short on food this week, or we're short on food this month. Can you help us? Right. So a neighbor taking from themselves so that another person can have access to go to either the local bodega that they go to with a gift card or the grocery store that they're most familiar with to get that access is remarkable. But at the same time, that generosity, it has to ask us the question, why is there such a need and such an inequity of folks who can take care of themselves, right? Who can pay for food, right? Why is there that gap, right? 1.1 million on SNAP in Massachusetts. There could be even more than that because we know many folks don't take advantage of the benefit that they could have access to. But I keep asking myself, why does there need to be 1.1 million people in Massachusetts who don't have enough resources to put food on their table and to feed their families? That is a larger problem, a larger challenge that we all need to be thinking about. But in this moment, that generosity of one another makes a difference for our own neighbors, and I'm grateful for it. I've seen people do it, and as you know, Jimmy, because I know you did a lot of this work at the same time, it reminded me in many ways of the generosity of spirit during COVID that existed. People stepped up and did things for their neighbors and for their community and for people they didn't even know because we knew it was some of the most challenging times we had ever experienced. There are some similarities today to some of those challenges, and so I wasn't surprised by that generosity of my neighbors, but it was energizing again to see it and to feel it, and we're going to need more of it, unfortunately, to come.
And I want to end on a good note, and that's the thing that again has been in my mind, Marty, that we have the immediacy, the interim, the intermediate, and the long term, and there is an impact that again, I'm just 5, 10 years out, our young people Mayor Wu, other people, I don't know if you agree, a lot of people have said that it's going to get a little worse,
Yeah.
before it gets better. And so, that's why I appreciate what you've done in your life's work, the United Way, that coming together. And then also what our community can do, $3, $5. Marty, if you have it and can navigate to it, there's a private chat icon that should be to your right.
Yeah.
You can get me to the direct donation link. And if there's one specifically, or folks should be able to navigate in a note that this is for, because I want to ask anybody that donates today from the Java show to specifically donate to the United Ways United Response Fund around addressing food inequities. And so if you can get that link for me, Marty, I'll cut and paste it and put it in the comments. Or if Bridget sends it later, I'll get it out on social media. But I just wanted to, one, highlight the humanity that you've seen from as a giving heart can give in $1.50 to the 2 million. So shout out to the organization, whomever gave the $2 million. If you want to say it, if it's not anonymous, you can give them a shout out here on media or not. But I just wanted to, one, just get information out to the community. And not just individuals, but if you go to the link, folks, that I've put in the comments, you will see where you can apply if you are doing the work, if you have the proper systems in place to monitor and
Sure.
report back to the United Way what you're doing, because there is that part of it as well. And so I'm going to, Marty, I have this one. I was trying to get directly to the where is it? Oh, donate. Thank you, brother. All right, let me get the exact donate link in the comments. And even if it's $1.50, $1.99, a lot of people doing that can add up. And you don't know if they get matches or whatever, and your $5 puts them over the top of a match. And so it's a little longer link, but trust it in the comments. I'm sure Facebook will say something, but this is a hyperlink, so you can go directly there and donate. It is legit. I just got it from CEO Marty
That's Marty.
Marty Martinez. The other thing, Marty, you mentioned was that, and ABCD, I'm sure, who's a partner in this,
Sure.
and they mentioned also applying for LIHEAP still. And so I want to make sure that folks also know that I've put active in the comments. I believe this is the right one from the state. It does start. Something's going on because these links are long, but I will put up the link to apply for SNAP benefits as well, because I
Great.
believe that folks are still encouraged to apply for
Yes, for
SNAP
sure.
benefits. It still shows the need, and it helps them able to level set what that need is. And so, Marty, is there anything that we missed today? We know that the holidays are setting in beginning this Thursday. If you would like to give greetings to the community on behalf of the United Way as we're going into them, please feel free to do so. And then any challenge that you have for us as we go away. And I think this year, similar to what you said, the human spirit that came out
Mhm.
during COVID, it we always need it, but I
Right.
think in these times of intensity and what usually comes with the holidays. So please,
Yeah,
your closing remarks, and
sure.
go ahead and give that holiday greeting so I can clip it up with the governors and the mayors as well. So say your name and where you're from, and then give your greeting.
For
Thanks, Mark.
sure, for sure. I'll say, again, Marty Martinez, United Way of Mass Bay. In this holiday time, it's so important that we continue to not only give thanks for all that we have, give thanks for the moment that we can help others and support others, but also remember that this is a moment to lean in. It's a moment to help each other. It's a moment to be involved when we see the challenges that so many are experiencing. Leaning in is what we want to be able to do with the United Way. And we know it's what many of folks do in Boston and across Massachusetts, to lean in to help one another. So in this moment, I'm thankful for all folks who are leaning in, and encourage all of us to do what we can do to support one another and to remember what we're thankful for, especially in what can be some challenging times. So wishing everybody happy holidays, but also grateful for what each of you do each and every day.
Marty, perfect. I might just have to cut that up by itself. No, in all seriousness, you know,
For
what
sure.
you said is definitely important. I did negate to get the one word from you, if I remember right,
Yeah.
around the status of things. And so we're going to close out with a little bit of fun. I
Okay.
will ask you, Marty, someone that knows me,
Yeah.
describe in one word your observation from what you see right now to what you saw back in the late teens, you know,
Yeah.
20s.
In one word, Jamie, I'm supposed to do that in one word.
One word, and then you can give context, of course.
One word is promise. And I will use that one word as promise.
Marty, I'm not messing
Um,
with you. Go on the screen by yourself.
yeah, because the reality is like the promise of Jimmy, like where you have been involved and been engaged in was always to be that voice and to continue to be that voice that needed to be heard, whether it was your own voice or lifting up other people's voices. Right, those are the moments that we're in. For listeners who don't know, I've been in many community meetings with Jimmy where I've been like, you know what, I hear you, and I hear you again, and I hear you again, and that promise to continue to be there, right? So even that promise from many years have passed to where we are today. That's the word, and that would be the description. That I think it's a promise that you've had, and our community is stronger when those of us in civically engaged, those involved, those who just care about our neighbors. When we make commitments, we keep them, and we keep pushing forward many years down the road. So that would be the word, and that would be the description of where we are from back then to today, Jimmy.
you you messed me up. My eyes are a little bit moist. And then also, you know, I was expecting a friendly fire, whatever. I was expecting just a teeny bit, just a little read and shade, but
I'm sure
no.
you were.
No, Marty, seriously, thank you, as I said before, for what you've done in life, what you're doing now, and bringing this to the attention of the community. And if you folks do donate, put Java somewhere in the notes so they can see this community's impact. A dollar 55 dollars. I want to shout out Brother Milton Soto, just as an example. They've come together. Him, Brother Mario, I forgot the name of the fam. Milton put it in there, but they're doing their own thing, you know, and giving out funds to the community. And
That's
so,
great.
Marty, thank you for being here again. Thanks to Bridget for making this happen. And this platform is here to support anything that you guys are doing and getting the word out. And so, Marty, thank you, and keep us abreast of how we can help. I'll get the information out for Snap, how to apply, and then again, how to give on a separate post on social media.
Thanks so much, Jimmy. Thanks for having us, and thanks for lifting up these important voices. I'm grateful
Thank,
for it.
thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good day and happy holidays, Marty.
You too. Take
All
care,
right.
Jimmy.
And I'm not. Do you got a 7-year-old?
Yes.
I'll text you later. All right, sir. Thank you.
Take care, my friend.
I hope you all one enjoyed Marty's comments toward the end. It was some interesting times when I was moving in that space of violence prevention and advocacy. But he did jack me up a little bit with the promise thing. I thought he was going to say like quiet. Um, what's the word that went popular a couple of years ago? Very demure, very all right, folks. I'm going to get ready to wrap up. Shout out to everybody that's on today. Yo, is that the brother I met this weekend? Brother Willie, I think that well, Brother Willie, I haven't said that in years. I know another Brother Willie, but I met a good brother this weekend. It does sea moss, and so I've tried it a couple of times. It definitely tastes different. And what I mean by that is you know that's sea moss. And I know a lot of people make different products to almost hide the taste. But when I tasted it Saturday, today's Monday, Saturday. When I tasted it Saturday, I said, okay. And he does it fresh. It doesn't even last for a month. It's some good stuff. So we'll be talking to him soon. The link for what, mother? Snap. So the link that I put in for the donate thing, it is extremely long and I don't think it hyperlinked well. So I am going to have to post the donation link for the United Way separately. I'll create a short link and then put that up. All right. All right, folks, we're going to get it ready to wrap up. Today is Monday, November 24th. And tomorrow morning, we are chatting with, in this week of Thanksgiving and the holidays, we are continuing the spirit of Thanksgiving and making sure that we have a healthy one. Tomorrow morning, we are going to chat with our great partner, ABCD Health Services is coming into the Java Cafe tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We are speaking with the Director of Health Services, Miss Maureen Scott, and we're going to talk about managing mental health during the holidays. It is a real issue. A lot of people in a lot of settings I've been in lately have talked about the holidays being, it's a different, it hits different. And so I want to make sure that we're intentional in talking about that. Food insecurity today, managing our mental health during the holidays tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm not sure. And then Thursday, right now, I haven't lined up any guests yet. I'm going to see if Shay's available. We had Remy last year, Keith and Jermaine. I may extend it this year. I may see if they're available. Right now, we're scheduled to have a show on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. We have not had a Thanksgiving morning show since 2020. And I don't want to start not doing it this year. So between cooking and all of that, we'll keep you abreast about, we may have to change the time a little bit. But I also wanted to ask you all two things. One is to give you an update. Keep Brother Stan Jenkins in your prayers. I know last I spoke with him, he was in the hospital. I need to check with him and see if he's home. Dina Marshall is out of the hospital. She is recuperating. I will actually see her today, tomorrow. Also, Miss Teresa is still hospitalized, and we hope that she will be home by Wednesday. So please keep her in your prayers and send healing thoughts all three of their ways. And do not forget, Stan, quick healing. And don't forget what we said about Mother Lisa, that she's going to take steps by December 31st. So don't forget that, folks. We will see you tomorrow morning again with Maureen Scott as we talk about managing mental health during the holidays. And on Wednesday, we'll let you know what the programming is there. I think that is it. Please keep your eyes open. Hi, Marcus. Dina Marshall Tarver is doing a lot better. Hold on, is that the bishop? The good Bishop Dickerson is in the room. Talk about thankfulness and things this morning. Bishop Dickerson, we need to get him on here. I see he be making his rounds on other platforms. Happy anniversary, Bishop. Love you, man. He just reported, who was Brother Stan's pastor, that okay, I'm getting all kind of updates. We'll go with this one and then we'll end with the other one. Miss Teresa is in surgery. So really, Ma, seeing that here and not knowing. Thank you, Ma. So you all really keep Miss Teresa in your prayers. And then also, Bishop Dickerson is reporting that Brother Stan is back home. And so keep him in your prayers as well. And additionally, keep Miss Teresa and also Latoya Minus in your prayers. Miss Teresa is the aunt, and of course, Latoya is the mother of Deja Jenkins Minus, who was taken away from us some years ago around this time of the year. And so that with T. And so again, as I said before, a lot of people have talked about how things hit different over the holidays. So again, we're intentional tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to chat with Maureen Scott of ABCD Health Services about managing mental health during the holidays. So that's it for me this morning. Yeah. Keep in mind, December Thursday, December 4th, the Thursday after Thanksgiving, we will be back at GBH at 12:30 p.m. There will be no show that morning, but we will have a show at 12:30 p.m. on December 4th. The Real Boston Media is in what Netflix show? The Real Boston Media is in the room. Hello. Good to see you all in the room as always. Oh, see, look at y'all. I know that's why Mama Java, Dina Marshall Tarver, can you text the link to Ma? Because I know she's probably going to donate something as well. Belinda, good to see you in the room this morning, a charter member. Oh yeah, I saw that. Kevin Hart's new special drops. Yeah, I saw that. We should wait till Thursday. Anyway, that's it for me. Shout out to everybody that is over on Sandra Lopez Burke. All I'm going to say to Sandra is thank you for when did we go out? Friday? Thank you for Friday. We had a production meeting on Friday, and thank God for production meetings. Shout out to Big Q. Willie, of course, was over there as well. Jennifer Thomas. Ari is over. Shanta is over on Instagram as well. Mama Java popped up over there. Who else was over there? Yatunde, good to see you in the room as always. Do the right thing. Seek said, is it geared to food insecurity, specifically any involvement, home insecurity and wellness, etc.? Generally, Seek, the United Way does address those type of issues either through grant funding directly to programs that address those issues or educate or inform or make aware around those issues. This specific fund for the United Way Response Fund is specifically for food insecurity. But generally, the United Way does a lot of work in addressing those things that lead to why folks are in those situations. Look who else is in the room this morning. The good evangelist pastor. Denise Williams is in the room. Auntie Denise is in the room this morning. Good to see you as always. I think that is it for me. We will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Again, you talk about a plug and promoting this, but we need to talk about it. Managing mental health during the holidays with ABCD, Tuesday, November 25th at 10 a.m. Hope to see you guys in the room tomorrow morning. Thank you for being with us this morning. And I think that that is definitely it for me. Sandra said, thank God for production meetings. Anyway, we're going to get ready to go. And we will see you all. One more comment. I don't have to worry about time because Union Capital members, y'all got y'all hour. It's 10:40. So you guys are good. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Keep in mind sometime around probably the second week in December, we're going to take a couple of days break to handle some logistics and also, well, no, Kwanzaa is during the break between Christmas and New Year's. And so I want to be intentional about highlighting some of the principles of Kwanzaa this year between Christmas and New Year. So we may not take a break during Christmas, between Christmas and New Year, but probably around the second week in December, probably that Wednesday and Thursday, we will be off air to handle some logistics, or maybe that Thursday and that Monday off air to handle some logistics. All right, good things, but just it's going to require me to detach, literally and figuratively, unplug and shift around all this stuff and reset it up. So anyway. Again, keep Miss Teresa in prayer, Stan Jenkins, Mother Lisa, and everybody else, and families and individuals during this season are dealing with reminders and also heightened needs and things like that. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.